use, or what types of drugs do you use and how often? Who comes to your house? Do they use drugs?
So have one of those real serious
conversations.
Then you know, CPS catches you up because they'll ask you, have you ever used drugs? Have you ever smoked marijuana? And the person will say yes, and it may be when they were 15 and they're now 50. So they use it against them.
So what should they say to them?
You definitely want to be honest with your background, but when it comes to trying to find people who could possibly take your children, in the event that they're taken from you, you want to know what type of lifestyle they live, who comes to their house, and the people who come to their house if they have criminal records, because CPS won't place if there's certain criminal records, and then also the income. All right, do you have sufficient income to take my child if I'm not able to help you? Do you have the space? You have to ask these difficult questions and find someone that you can put in place in the event something happens.
We're talking about what happens to your children, and we're talking about putting safeguards in place because you never know when you may become a subject or a target of CPS. Your child goes to school with a bruise on, or if your child, for whatever, seeks out trying to get attention, or whatever may be in your family, who will get custody of that child? You wouldn't want them to go to foster care, so CPS can place them with a relative, a grandmother, or so and so. So we're talking about how to vet that person. It's almost like looking to see if I will pass away, who will receive my children.
Yes.
But it's a little bit different because you're talking about CPS. They're going to scrutinize it and vet that person, investigate that person. Right. Some people don't want to go into that scrutiny.
They don't, and then you got to make sure that person can meet the child's needs and protect the child. So you really need to know who you're dealing with before you ask for the children to be placed.
And when you talk about that, in 2019, we've had record less number of kids being taken into foster care because now they understand our policies. We're not going to remove children for certain things. There's things you can do within the home to keep the family intact. So because of that, and the policies we put in place, now they're understanding it, and the district attorneys who are in our court are telling their clients, CPS, the judge's policy is this, this, and this. Don't file this. We're not removing this. Think of some other options. And I think we've done a great thing. We're keeping families together.
It is. And it's important. We're trying to make sure that they move more towards how can we help them, the children stay at home, because it's traumatic when children have to be snatched up from their home. How can they stay at home with their family and their services provided? Because ultimately, if we're truly trying to help the family and truly trying to help the parents or rehabilitate them, they can do the services at home. They can go to drug treatment at home. They can go to counseling at home. They can have a therapist come to the home.
So long as you're saying, as long as they're participating in the rehabilitation of the family, then as judges, you're saying, okay, we're going to look at that. It's no longer, okay, you are out of bounds here, so I'm going to take your children. No.
Right.
You can do this on an outpatient basis, or you can go through therapy, or you can go to family therapy to work it out and keep the family together. Because I think and this is what people fail to realize, once children are taken out of the home, and it may seem like that's one time, that happened when that person was young, but that stays with them as they become adults. That's the part becomes a part of family history, and it becomes very horrific in that family when that happens, where the child may want to come back, can't get back. Now that child is growing up, where that family relationship has been severed. So I really commend you as far as taking the stance on trying to keep families together, because it's not. I know it's not popular because there are some people that need their children taken away from them.
That's true.
There's some people you should be like never be able to help children. I definitely understand that, but I like the fact that you're able to separate the wheat from the corn.
Yes.
And so you're able to see what works and what needs to be retooled. And that takes thinking out of the box.
And like I said, the stats show it. Greg Abbott just